And what these ferocious beasts are waiting for is, in fact, 3 minutes of metal mayhem from Brazilian rocker Sepultura. But first, if you're wondering what all the fuss is about, take a look at this.
Have you tested these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. You?
I'm all right.
Good.
I'm all right. What you been up to?
What have we been up to? I don't think anything interesting since we last spoke of. Have we?
So you watched the deep cuts I sent you, but you already knew it.
I did know about that song.
Yeah. Would you like to briefly describe it?
It's a song about David Duchovny.
Yeah.
You briefly describe it.
Well, you'll
do it better.
A very weird video that I saw on Instagram like ages ago, and I thought I'll show you because you'd be interested because you like the X-Files. But it's also got Buffy in the video, and it's got Pamela Anderson, and it's got Kiss, and it's got all sorts of people. I
think I saw someone talking about getting all those people to do it, and I can't really remember anything else. So that it's not it. This is the worst story in the world, but I think the person just like obviously. Oh my god, this is the worst story. I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll research.
I think my story then was going to be someone asked someone to do it and they did it, and yeah, brilliant.
Well, it must have been someone who was like on like a backlot or something where they would. You know, but I think it was when Kiss were making Detroit Rock City. I think I read that.
Right.
It's sort of late 90s, isn't it? So anyway, that's, is it Bree Sharp? David Duchovny, look it up. Yeah, so we're back. This is our second episode of the year.
Were you waiting for me to say something?
No, I thought you might comment on that. We're currently looking at Kerrang number 482 from 1994.
94.
Do you remember what we spoke about last time?
Vaguely. I know we were looking at it.
We were looking at it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, our next article is about Sepultura.
Okay.
And they're playing The Word on Channel 4.
Okay.
Last time Kerrang hung out on the set of The Word, presenters Mark Lamar and Terry Christian had a ruck backstage. This time it's metal god Sepultura dishing out the brutality. Chris Watts sees Sep's fans herded into a cage as a man devours a worm sandwich.
Oh, fucking Word. I rewatched Celebrity Big Brother, whatever year it was, with Terry Christian in it. So I've watched Terry Christian fairly recently.
Who was he in with?
Oh, now you ask, because I've watched a lot of them, so they all blend into one because they're all fairly similar. Someone's nice, someone's not nice.
Yeah. And how did Terry come off?
He was all right, actually. Yeah, like came off pretty nice, pretty funny.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't sort of expect. You'd think you'd get a bit annoyed by him, but no, he was Celebrity Big Brother. Right, there you go. Which was in Series 6, which was 2009.
Okay.
So let's see who else was in with him.
So like 2 years ago, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Spoiler, if you haven't watched it, I can tell you who won. Okay. So if you want to catch up.
Yeah, just mute this for 5 minutes.
He was the runner-up. Terry Christian was the runner-up.
Okay.
Christian was the runner-up. So the winner, spoiler, Ulrika Johnson.
Oh, okay. And there's the 90s figure.
So the housemates were Coolio.
Okay.
Coolio, when I saw he was going to be in it when I was catching up, I thought that'd be cool. But cool, Leo. But he's a bit of a twat.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a bit of a... he's just not a very nice person.
Yeah.
You know, like he... I mean, people said he was like bullying, but some people said he wasn't. And so obviously that's... up for debate, but
I did like his cookbook back in the day.
Yeah, his cookbook back in the day was really good.
Yeah.
Vern Troyer.
Mini-Me.
Ben Adams, singer from, I think, 911.
Okay.
Tommy Sheridan, which I didn't know, politician apparently.
Okay.
LaToya Jackson.
Okay, right.
Michelle Heaton, singer. Mucha Buena, but she actually left of her own accord after a bit because she just got sick of it.
Right. Wait, so Mucha is from Sugar Babes?
Yeah.
Who was the other one? Michelle
Heaton from Liberty X.
Okay.
Tina Malone from Shameless, I think.
Okay.
And Lucy Pinder for being a glamour model.
Right.
I think she was one of the first ones out. So, is Coolio dead?
Yeah.
What?
Died a few years ago.
I was reading this thinking, that's not right. No way.
Yeah.
In 2022. 28th of September 22.
Yeah.
Well, I feel bad for saying he wasn't nice then now.
Well,
he was lovely. He's a really nice guy.
God bless. I mean, people are complex individuals, aren't they?
People are complex individuals.
Maybe it just didn't suit him. He did have a good cookbook. There was a lot of swearing in it. It was good.
How did he die?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, this is going off on a tangent. Let's see. Because he can't have been old. 59. Okay. You can cut all this bit out, but...
It's all the Coolio content people want.
Not very nice death. Okay. We can cut out the Coolio content. R.I.P. Right.
Coolio... He had a song, I think, on his first album called Fuck Coolio, and it was from the perspective of, well, not a fan, but like someone who just saw him going into a club and going into the VIP thing, and
they shouted.
They were saying Fuck Coolio, yeah. Do you know my Terry Christian story? I've told you my Terry Christian story, haven't I?
You might have done.
He just sort of jostled me at Manchester train station. He was in a hurry.
Maybe he's not a nice guy.
He was in a hurry. I was obviously blocking his way.
Did he say sorry?
No.
Oh, dear me. That's not very polite.
Okay, so getting back to the article, Chaos TV.
Sorry, why did we start talking? Because you talk about the word.
Sepultura are appearing on the word.
Random tangent.
Just for the time being, the man from the record company says, it's probably best not to mention the cage to the guys. This is probably the greatest understatement of the day. Everybody thought the idea of the cage was a joke until that is Sepultura arrive at the Word Studios. A team of welders are constructing a steel cage. There's room inside for 50 Sepultura fans, some of whom have travelled across the country to witness the band perform Refuse Resist for the TVI. So I think the idea is they're metal fans, so they're like wild animals, so we're going to keep them in a cage.
So they put them all in one cage together?
They put them all in one cage together.
I mean, if that's a picture of them, they look pretty happy to be fair.
Well, they're posing for the cameras there. It'd
be a bit rubbish if you were like in the middle of the cage.
Well,
so basically you're just trapped.
It says here, finally, one of the 50 fans collapses in the heat.
Right.
So I think they put them in the cage and then they're just waiting for a long time because it's telly. They're just waiting for a long time.
Oh my God.
He's escorted outside by the St. John's ambulance staff. Danny Bear and Terry Christian make a big deal about unlocking the quote animals for Sepultura's performance. It's item 37 in the schedule and lasts for 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Did you ever watch The Word?
Yeah, saw it a bit,
I never watched it. I think it was a bit slightly too old for me at the time, and I think I was a bit scared by it because it felt like they might show you something horrible, like someone eating a worm sandwich or licking someone's armpit. 'Cause obviously we've all seen that shit. But
that's the whole thing about The Word. Everyone remembers they had a thing called the Hopefuls, and people were like desperate to be on telly, so they would eat maggots on screen. It's just it was gross then, and I don't think they do it now. Do you want to see the Sepultura performance?
Ferocious beasts, all right.
At least they let him out.
That is 90s hair, isn't it? The way she's done that front bit.
Oh, get out of here.
People don't do that enough for the hair nowadays. It wasn't even locked. They could have just opened that themselves.
I mean, this is amazing quality video, isn't it? They didn't often have rock bands on. It was more sort of indie and dance and stuff.
This is more just metal, isn't it?
I think this is the only Sepultura song I know. I mean, you get the idea. Pretty headbanging stuff.
I'm not going to do that too much because
it hits your throat, doesn't it?
Still recovering from a cold.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
It's nice tune.
Also on the show was Reel to Reel featuring the Mad Stuntman.
What and what?
Oh, you remember Reel to Reel featuring the I Like to Move It, Move It?
I know that song.
I mean, this is one of the iconic songs of the night, isn't it?
Yeah, but did Zig and Zag cover this? Because I think if they did, I think I know the Zig and Zag version better. Did they?
I don't know, but I think Zig and Zag sort of based their style.
Just at least check. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like both Zig and Zag. I'd like to move it, right? Oh, yeah, so I haven't imagined it. Right. Thank God. Not them girls.
I mean, move it live. See this?
There you go.
I mean, they're dressed as cowboys.
I was well into Zig and Zag in the 90s, just as a concept.
Oh,
just think right now, Zig and Zag are somewhere, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just hanging up somewhere in a museum, hopefully.
Unlike Hoggle, they wouldn't have rotted away, would they? Because they're just sort of fuzzy like material. Whereas Hoggle's all like silicone and rubber,
destroyed,
wasn't he?
Yeah.
What did I think I saw a picture of E.T. the other day, like like the E.T. puppet, like now when it was as upsetting as that whole thing.
Just out of interest, have a Google of where are Zig and Zag now. The puppets. You never type what I ask you to type. Okay.
Where are they now? There they go.
But you didn't type.
Zig and Zag, Australian performers. No. Zig and Zag, puppets.
Puppets.
I mean, that's just the wiki article.
No. You visit often. Oh, I thought you meant Zig and Zag thing. What's the matter with you? It means Wikipedia in general. Got it.
What's the very last? They made a surprise guest appearance on TFI Friday in 2015. The last ever live episode of the show. They previously appeared on the show during its first season in 96.
I think I watched that. I think we watched that,
I think we did, yeah. Yeah.
I think it was all right. Right, well, that's not... I'll find this out later. That no one wants to hear this apart and find out where they are, but there was a mention of the Wu-Tang Clan then in with it.
Among the memorable results was them teaching the Wu-Tang Clan's Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard how to fold a serviette like a pineapple.
I did like them guys. We're called ODB. Anything to do with aliens is fine with dirty.
Brilliant.
See, without me bringing this up, we wouldn't have known that.
I mean, that is the fucking name of the episode, isn't it?
Oh, brilliant.
Well,
we should find that episode and watch that. Brilliant. Okay, back to
Kerrang. So communication. There's a letter about the guy from Sepultura. Yet again, I read that Sepultura's Max Cavalera has become involved in a dispute with the law. Liz Evans calls it injustice. But how long can people go on thinking that poor old Max and co are so hard done by? Yeah, not terribly exact. The one I picked out was Bad Example. My week was going fine until I read Kerrang issue 479 to find that Donington will be on June 4th this year. Well, that's fucking fine because I can't go. The organisers probably just didn't stop to think about us poor buggers who've got exams.
Oh, no, it's Jane.
I'm sure I'm not alone among metalheads in this problem. And if my beloved Skid Row play, I hope all the organisers rot in hell as I miss them. Here's Donington 95. That's from Jane in Leek.
What? Is it not a weekend?
Oh, yeah, it'll be on a Saturday.
But she's got to revise. The thing is, Jane is dedicated to her exams. She could have gone...
Yeah, take a day off.
But she could have gone and revised up until in a tent until Skid Row come on, and then go and watch Skid Row for like, what would it be, 40 minutes? And then go back and revise. That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because she seems angry enough.
Maybe she did have literal examinations on the Saturday because, you know...
Yeah, but who does that? I mean, are you going to talk about the next ones that say penis envy and gagging for a shagging?
Well, penis envy. I recently went to a gig to watch a band called Genital Deformities.
Oh, my God.
I was very dubious at first going to see a band with a name like that, but I was totally shocked by the killer live show that they put on. They played brilliantly, had great stage presence, and were tight as fuck. Now, these guys need to be signed now. That's from Paul in Birmingham. So that's
Imagine you see... Oh, Genital Deformities is playing. I don't really want to go, but I'm just going to go. Why did you?
They might have been supporting someone.
Well, I mean, I'm glad. I dread to think what they sound like.
It was just, I'm at a loose end. Genital Deformities are playing.
Have you looked them up? I mean, the problem is you can't Google that, can you? For the love of God, don't. If you Google that, I'm looking away.
I don't think I put them on the playlist. No. No
one needs that on the playlist, but
I mean, should we just...
I feel like we need to... you can't put that in.
No, it's...
Put the band, Genital Deformities, the band, /band. Oh God, you're YouTubing it as well. We're going to see all sorts.
There you go.
Oh, look at that logo.
I mean, great logo mix, Jenna. I mean, the first track is called...
Hey, that looks like... what's up? Words! Catacombs.
Right, the song
Dick Hill.
The song is called Dick Hill. Let's see what this sounds like.
Imagine, right? I mean, they sound like I'd imagine. You... end up in the catacombs, which is a bit of an insult anyway, isn't it? The people come to pay and stare at your bones. And then someone puts you on the front cover of an album called Dick Hill. Download this song for free.
Embark on Evil. Let's have a look.
Noisecore Grind. That doesn't sound too bad. Oh, okay, that's... Go back. Let's see how long that sounded all right for. Start from the beginning. Sounds all right. 4 seconds. 4 seconds before it doesn't sound. That logo looks suspicious.
Yeah, it's not your normal spiky metal.
It looks... how do you say this politely?
I want to hear you say
I'm not going to insult anyone's intelligence. It looks like white splattered paint, which I'm assuming it wasn't meant to look like. It was meant to look like something else. But we're not going to sully ourselves to discussing what it is.
It's a classy podcast, isn't it? So
we're keeping it classy. It looks like white splattered paint.
We don't say spunk or jizz on this podcast. All right, gagging for a shagging.
Oh.
Yes, Meg Ryan style to Tim Scold of Shotgun Messiah. My imagination runs completely hat stand when I think of his tanned flesh and tantalizing mouth. I would love to taste this violent new breed of Swede anytime. As for Tim's, quote, second coming, who's counting? Let's do it any moment. That's from Deb in Blackpool.
Oh, my. I mean, yeah, the editor has put calm down he's here now, but I think just calm down. There's a photo of him. He's got
you're a woman.
sweet hair.
What's your opinion of Tim?
It's not a very good photo. I can't really see.
It's not a good photo, is it? He's got
got
good
blonde hair, which it's not my favourite. Like Vince Neil's actually Bret Michaels.
David Lee Roth.
I would never fancy David Lee Roth. No offence, but he's a great singer, not so much.
Okay. Brit Brat slated.
Okay.
I feel that it's. Let me zoom in. I'm zooming into genital deformities because I'm on the wrong screen. I feel like it's about time that someone wrote in regarding the amount of coverage you're giving to the Wildhearts. While I admit that such garbage does have its place in Kerrang, it is popular. Do they have to be featured quite so often? There may be nothing more original in rock music anymore. Stealing is okay if you want to make it sound like your own stuff, but the Wildhearts sound exactly like they're ripping off every band going. I mean,
band.
That's quite difficult, isn't it? Check out the intro for Turning American. It sounds like Metallica's Blackened. It is understandable that you're keen to promote British bands. After all, they were once the best in the world, but it is this crap, along with rubbish like Thunder and Little Angels.
What?
Is this the best we can do?
Sorry.
Makes you wonder if it's all worth the effort.
I'm sorry, the devil's advocate.
We once had one of these where they were complaining about the amount of times they covered Iron Maiden in like 1988.
I mean, I feel like they do cover the Wildhearts because I feel like I've seen that a lot in these things. But I actually don't know anything about the Wildhearts, so maybe not enough because it's not taught me anything. But then I don't retain any information like a fish.
I mean, you might. If I type in the Wildhearts, what's the first song that comes up? I Want to Go Where the People Go. I mean, that was a hit.
Have you played? Oh God, living with me must be like living with a lot of different people.
But I don't think we've talked about them.
Have you played this song though? And have we had a conversation?
I don't think so. But we'll see.
Oh dear.
I mean, this Pringles ad is going a long time. All right, let's go.
Okay, no, we haven't. Okay. Dangerous.
Your mate likes the Wildhearts because he was going on about going to see Ginger do his solo shows.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I don't know this song though.
Do you not?
They're not even tied on to that thing they're standing on. It's dangerous.
They're driving through town on the back of a truck.
On like a flatbed.
Yeah.
They don't know like they're
Well,
tied
they're rock
on.
and roll maniacs, aren't they?
This is why I can never be rock and roll. Imagine me on that. Oh, actually, maybe.
Might have played it at Rock of Ages.
Maybe.
But
Okay.
I feel like we've talked about Ginger a lot because he was in the Choir Boys and got fired, and then he went on to form the Wildhearts.
Ginger Ranks. Oh, the Wildhearts albums. I thought that was his last name.
I don't know what his last name is, actually.
Oh.
It's just Ginger. He's just got one name. He's like Cher.
That was a really boomer thing for me to have done then.
Oh, he's called Ginger Wildheart.
Okay. Well, he's made that up.
Okay. But the Devil's Advocate doesn't like him. So
Okay.
the last letter in communication this month, or this week, we are two nymphomaniacs from Solihull who want to know how the hell do all you headbanging men with long hair get it so perfect? We spend hours trying to get ours to look half decent when all you do is get out of the shower. Also, to the really gorgeous bloke in Solihull with long blonde hair who always has his trousers tucked into his socks, we think this looks, capitals, dead sexy. And could you please also wear your glasses more often? That's from Sebastian's Pants in Solihull, who are two nymphomaniacs.
I'm confused because trousers tucked into socks is never a good look with someone like Or where were we? 94?
Yeah.
Is it a bit like Ugly Kid Joe look?
Maybe.
That kind of...
yeah, if you've got big boots, you might
That's what I mean, maybe. It's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't tell whether that's sarcastic about the dead sexy socks, but also,
really
could you please wear your
bloke.
glasses more often? Maybe that's just like subtweeting someone. It's like having a go at a particular person.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, we can't contact them because Sebastian's pants unlikely to be on Facebook's.
What's up, folks? It's Jake here from the Extrovert Podcast. Come join us as we play underplayed and undershared bands from across the United States and the world. We found local bands from the Midwest, Florida, the UK, New Zealand, and far, far beyond. Some of our recent favorite discoveries include Sprawl, Glitch Kingdom, City of Auburn, Flake, Michigan, and so many more. We feature rock news,
Rock news. Whoa. News about rock tracks are getting rocked.
as well as discuss our band's journey toward finishing our forthcoming EP. Our first two singles, Last Call and Tides of Elephants, both out now. You can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Like a cut from a knife to a scab that's always bleeding. It's always bleeding. And when you
So Paul Elliott is reviewing the singles, and quite a good crop of singles. So Spoon Man by Soundgarden. Do you know that song?
No. Maybe.
Do you want a
No.
bit of it?
Yeah.
Do you have a bit of Spoon Man?
Yeah.
I mean, shit video, but it's a good song. Guy we saw on It's a Small World. You'd have heard this though, right?
No, I haven't heard it, but what's a Spoon Man? Like Mr. Spoon from Button Moon.
No, he's a guy that plays the spoons. You can see him in this video. I think in the breakdown you actually see him do a spoon solo. So that was a real guy. He was called Artist the Spoon Man, and he showed up at Lollapalooza and he would actually play the spoons. He was like a character, like a street artist.
Right.
So there you go.
I can't do it.
So the review goes, maybe they ain't the new Sabbath after all. After the full metal assault of Bad Motorfinger, Spoon Man is something different from Soundgarden. In fact, the groovy vibe, easy hook and lack of histrionics make Spoon Man surprisingly reminiscent of Southern style retro rockers Raging Slab. There's nothing on it that's quite as bizarre as a bonus track here, cheekily titled Exit Stonehenge, which I had this single, right? And there was a song called Exit Stonehenge and Cold Bitch. And one of those songs, it always jumped. And it sounded really metal the way it jumped. Obviously, I'm not describing that very well, but, you know, I had the 12-inch single.
I can picture it.
Exit Stonehenge was a good song, though. What else have we got? So Primal Scream rocks. Do you know that song?
Not sure.
Okay, let's have a bit of Primal Scream.
Hey, why is that a different shape?
It's the original ratio, isn't it?
It's weird.
Let's get to the chorus.
Oh, yeah.
So we saw Primal Scream recently, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they played that, and, you know, they've got a lot of good songs. But this review is very interesting. So Primal Scream rocks. Once the drummer in Jesus and Mary Chain, Primal Scream frontman Bobby Gillespie is now being touted by the UK's style mags as the last great British rock star. Well, he's Scottish, but he looks the part, pouting, junky thin, lank-haired, heavy-lidded, but rocks has no real authenticity. The title is lifted from the lead-off cut from the Rolling Stones' classic double album Exile on Main Street, but Primal Scream ain't the new Stones, far from it. Exile is arguably the greatest rock and roll album ever made. Primal Scream offer a weak copy. Rocks could be the Choir Boys. The only difference is the Primal Scream got the front cover of the NME. What a fucking joke.
Ooh.
So I think what's going on there is that Primal Scream, they were an indie band, right? They're Scottish indie band, but they went a bit sort of like rootsy rock and roll for this album. And then they were getting all these plaudits from like the indie press. But, you know, people like the Choir Boys had been doing this for, you know, the Black Crows, they've been doing this for donkey's years. But, you know, it's just sort of indie snobbery, isn't it? It's all sort of reverse indie snobbery. But I think that's a good single. But obviously Kerrang are never going to like it because they're not a Kerrang band.
Right.
All right. So we've also got Disarm by Smashing Pumpkins. Do you know that song?
I don't think so.
Right, let's have a bit of Disarm.
Don't think so.
You don't know it?
No.
It's on the album Siamese Dream, and it was really big at the time. So the review goes, like Soul Asylum, the Smashing Pumpkins have suddenly bust out all over during the past year. Disarm is a beautiful melancholic tune from the Siamese Dream album, backed with 2 acoustic songs. I mean, I think that they say quite blissful, so they quite like it. But I mean, this was, when I was at college, this was like literally everywhere. Like people were like proper into it, that whole album. But I like that song anyway. So the last song is Motorhead by Corduroy. So do you know, I mean, obviously it's the Hawkwind / Motorhead song, Motorhead. But have you ever heard the Corduroy version?
Don't know.
Well, let's have a bit of Corduroy, shall we?
Sunrise, one side of another day. Sky high, 6,000 miles away. Don't know how long I've been awake. Wound up in an arithmetic state. I should be tired, but all I am is wired. It felt as good for an hour. I'm on ahead, remember me now. I'm on ahead, all right.
Oh, it's not by Motorhead.
No, it's
It's a song about Motorhead.
Well, it's Lemmy wrote it when he was in Hawkwind, so it was a Hawkwind song. But then when he formed Motorhead, they also did this song. But this is like a sort of 90s acid jazz version of it. But I always thought that was cool. But I first heard it on Radio 1 when they would have a strand where comedians would do radio shows. Like Eddie Izzard did one, Alan Davis did one, and like Vic and Bob did it. And so Vic and Bob played this on their show. And it was a very, very funny show. And I've got the entire thing on the playlist somewhere. Radio Reeves and Mortimer.
Okay.
But there was a whole bit on this show called The Bull of Death, or The Evil Bull. So it was this kind of weird sort of performance art poem about a bull. So I'm going to play you a bit of The Evil Bull.
Oh no, a volcano has erupted in my mansion. Whoosh goes the lava all over me shirt, and it all slops down with leering vengeance. Hot and sticky and horrible and runny, and the thick black smoke spews up in the air. Through this dimness a spectre emerges. It's a great big bull with a horrible head, and his eyes bug out, and his lips is curled with 2 metal horns and high-heeled shoes. I am the Bull of Death. Have I got a prize for you, sir? I am the Bull of Death. Have I got a prize for you, sir? Well, I couldn't resist, so I clubbed him with me shovel, and that spelled one thing, i.e. trouble. It didn't make him froth, and it never made him whistle. Why, he merely tittered and began to sing. He said, yin, 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 I am not thin.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's like
Nice
3
Ainsley
minutes of
Harriet
that. But, yeah, so there's a bit of the Bull of Death for you. I thought you'd enjoy that.
Evil Bull.
The Evil Bull. I always call it the Bull of... I mean, the thing is, back in 94, you didn't have a lot of entertainment. So you hear something like that, and then for the next 6 months, you just constantly quote it. So me and my friend that I lived with would just constantly go, I am the Bull of Death to each other. And we thought it was hilarious. Okay, so next up in the magazine, we've got Seattle Super Fuzz, which is just a bunch of posters. So I'm going to show you a bunch of posters.
Okay.
And you can tell me which you prefer, which you've got to choose one of these, right?
Okay.
So you've got,
looking at the lineup, probably none, but go on.
well, Pearl Jam, you've got Eddie Vedder.
Right.
I mean, he's sort of looking smouldering and serious there.
Okay.
I think I didn't have this, but I think I had a picture of Eddie Vedder that looked very similar up on my wall at one point. You've got Alice in Chains. And that's Jerry Cantrell wearing a top that says bum equipment.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the
Other
lads.
side of it.
Soundgarden, Chris Cornell, looking mean and moody.
The bottom of him.
Yeah. You've got Screaming Trees, looking moody.
I don't think it'll be in Screaming Trees.
You got Nirvana. I don't think Nirvana are really posing. They've just taken a picture of them sat around.
Dave Grohl, boo.
He's history's worst villain. And you got Tad in action.
Tad in action.
So which of those would you?
Probably the first one if I had to.
Eddie Vedder.
Yeah, probably.
The Nirvana picture, I'm sure my friend had that picture up when we were up, but in the late 90s, so they must have republished some of these pictures at some point, because he liked, like everyone else I knew, he liked Nirvana in the late 90s.
I hated Nirvana in the late 90s.
Yeah,
but I quite like him now. Yeah.
Well, that's
change,
emotional growth, isn't it?
Yeah.
What made you change your opinion on Kurt and the lads?
That mix, the Rockin'
Robin,
Smells
like Teen Spirit, yeah.
Mix, and then I don't know which other. You start to hear me, you think that's not that bad actually. It's just the time.
Yeah, you just didn't like that period too much, did you? All right, so a big article.
Yeah.
Old, new, borrowed and Crüe.
Okay.
Mötley Crüe shocked the metal world when they replaced the dude, Vince Neil, with John Corabi. So didn't he leave, or did they boot him out?
I think in the dirt, it was kind of more they kicked him out, wasn't it? Because he was showing up wasted to rehearsals. Or was that him, or was that Nikki Sixx? No, that was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, because like Nikki...
Oh, no, was that Nikki Sixx?
Nikki Sixx is like sort of the main guy, though, isn't he? He's not going to throw himself out.
No.
Okay, they've got a shocking, hard-rocking new album that borrows a few licks from Alice in Chains. In part one of a Big K exclusive, Dave Reynolds jets out to quake-torn LA to confront the new crew about Vince, grunge, pussy songs and the rumours of a reunion with the dude. So the dude has just left and they're talking about a reunion, but okay. So you've got this album, haven't you? I think it's just called Mötley Crüe.
I will do. Yeah. Got all of them.
And what are your picks from the Mötley Crüe album?
I can't remember what's on it.
There's a list of songs. Power to the Music, Uncle Jack, Hooligan's Holiday, that was the single. Misunderstood, Love Shine, Poison Apples, Hammered, Till Death Us Do Part, Welcome to the Numb, Smoke in the Sky, Dropping Like Flies, Drift Away. Do any of these ring any bells?
So this was then like the new album.
This is the kind of Vince-less.
I don't think I'll listen to this much.
No. Okay. We never fired Vince. He walked out on the band. I think it was some sort of martyrism. I don't know if that's a word on his part. We call him the victim now because he's just been telling everybody, well, they fired me, woe is me. I really want to clear up the fact that he wasn't fired. I mean, doesn't it say at the beginning of this? It just says they replaced him. Okay. When we did Dr. Feelgood, it was frustrating for him because once it was done, we immediately wanted to better ourselves. And he'd be like, why can't you fucking guys ever be happy? But that's just the nature of the beast. With me, Tommy, and Mick Mars, we're always trying to better ourselves. And I believe over the years it wore Vince down. There'd been a barbel too thrown here and there, but anything we've said about him has just been honest. Sometimes that honesty might seem like slagging him off, but we're just stating what happened. At least he could have explained why we're assholes. We were assholes because he asked him to do things he didn't want to do, like grow as a musician. So they're being proper bitchy.
How about you grow as a musician? Have you ever thought about that, Vince?
Well, there's a there's a good bit here. There was a couple of times where Tommy would complain that there was no fun shit on the record, and I'd say, I'm not in a funny... So this is Nicky Six. I'm not in a funny mood. He'd fire back, well, other people like to have fun. And I'd say, well, that's their fucking problem. I was real adamant there'll be no pussy songs on the album. I wrote those not for me, but for Vince. If you look back at our albums, they'll all be split down the middle. There would always be the pussy stuff, and then there'd be the others with more of a serious touch to them. To be honest, after She Goes Down on Dr. Feelgood, I found it hard to look at my face in the mirror.
I was going to say which of the pussy songs, but okay, you've got one there.
Well,
does he mean like
girls.
songs about girls, or does he mean pussy as in like
Home Sweet Home?
No, like, well, I don't know, like more of a sort of derogatory term in a general rather than anything. Do you know what I mean? What does he mean? Like, oh, you pussy, you know, that way.
There would be pussy stuff and then be others with a bit more serious touch. I mean, if he's talking about She Goes Down, that's a rocker, but all it is, you know.
It's a good song, that. What's his beef?
We talked about She Goes Down on one of our earlier episodes.
It's a good song because it's got the sound effects of a zip going down, in case you were confused about what they mean. Really just needed to hammer home the point. And then I think it's got a girl laughing, hasn't it?
Yeah. They don't. It's not. There's no hidden message on that. It's about fucking groupies, isn't it? There's a deep bottom end to the sound of the Mötley axes on the new record. It comes across as pretty contemporary on occasion. Alice in Chains' name crops up on my notes more than once when I first heard the record. I was asked earlier today if we were influenced by the Seattle sound, says John, but it's like Nicky says, anybody who denies being influenced by something as powerful as that is full of shit. It's got to rub off somehow. The Seattle thing to me is just a bunch of 70s bands rehashed. I love Soundgarden, but they're total Sabbath. Well, not according to the guy that wrote the singles reviews in this, but okay. Strong rumours persist that things haven't already altogether worked out with John Corabi, and with the Vince Neil band falling apart, it is said that Mötley Crüe are all set for a reunion with their erstwhile singer. I mean, he's like been out of the band for
2 minutes.
It's a ridiculous concept once you've seen the camaraderie between the group and the new front man for yourself, but the subject that had to be broached nonetheless. That won't happen. There's not enough money in it to make it happen, laughs Nicky before it becomes a bit more serious. I've made enough money in my life. I'd had a taste of doing things right and wrong. I'd rather have a mediocre career as a solo artist or as a member of another band, having enjoyed the arena level already, and go on and enjoy being happy as a musician rather than prostitute myself out. So I don't know how long it was, but it wasn't very long until Vince Neil was back in the band, was he?
I don't think so.
No, it was.
They both look good in this period.
Yeah, well, it's a bit more. You know, they're still, you know, wearing leather trousers and stuff, but it's just a little bit less doofy than, you know, big hair and the 80s style.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't like their big hair and 80s style,
no,
but I mean, they look physically.
Oh yeah. Well, he's saying he's 35 years old. He's acting like a grown up now.
Right.
All right.
That looked good.
So yeah, that was Mötley Crüe. Actually, should we have a bit of Hooligans Holiday? Let's just see if you remember it.
Casper's Brainy
It's not
Book.
Casper's Brainy Book. I mean, they're looking hella 90s already. Well, the film's all scratched.
Oh no. They should have checked that before putting it out. The problem is with a new singer, it sounds like a different band.
Yeah. And I've listened to, I mean, it's a little bit generic, you know, it's like he could be a guy in any band, whereas at least with Vince Neil.
Skip forward. Okay. Nah. This isn't what we're interested in.
That bit's alright, that's a good hook.
Yeah, but it's not Mötley Crüe for me. Nikki Sixx would probably go on a right rant if you heard me say that. Then I'd follow it up with I Like She Goes Down, Nikki.
Yeah, actually, that song spoke to me.
Oi.
All right.
All right.
The other big article in this issue is Marillion.
No, your favourite.
My favourite. So, I mean, they're about to release an album called Brave, which is a concept album. But the beginning of the article's good. It was an odd moment. Marillion were at the Wembley Arena, a gig I was at, playing their heart-rending hit single that never was, No One Can, when attention was diverted from the stage by the sound of a man in distress. Heads turned to be confronted by a single white male, late 20s, in tears, swabbing his face with the sleeve of his T-shirt, Fugazi, 1984. He blubbed, "Sorry, I was just thinking about my old girlfriend." So, I mean, they're sort of painting them as, you know, they're a bit more sort of sensitive.
So, wait a minute. They were playing?
Well, I mean, I don't, like, in Wembley
They were
Arena.
on stage singing. Yeah. And everyone stopped because they heard one man crying.
Yeah, I was.
How loud were they playing?
I was at his gig, and I don't remember this.
You were there. Were you the man crying? Because you wouldn't remember.
Oh my God, I was.
Who were you thinking about?
Late 20s. No, I was 22, so it's not me. I certainly didn't have a Fugazi T-shirt or a girlfriend. But this, you know, I mean, I don't buy this because Wembley Arena, I don't know if you've been, it's quite big.
Have I been? No, I don't think. I've been to Stadium. Is that different?
It's different. It's in the same place, but it's like an arena. It's you know, it's like
right.
The NEC or something. There were a few nervous giggles, a conciliatory pat on the shoulder for the poor bugger before someone had the sense to mention a trip to the bar. So it just sounds sort of anecdotal that some people were there and they saw a guy crying. I don't think...
Rather than they were on stage singing.
The band stopped.
They were like, hang on a minute, everyone stopped. This poor guy is crying. Now everyone's staring at him.
So they're talking to Steve Hogarth, who said, "I never had time for all the macho stuff. Robert Plant, I can understand, and Ian Gillan, who was in Deep Purple on the Machine Head album, but some of the others, David Coverdale, he grimaces as if he's just tasted something unpleasant. I could never stand all those singers that just went wag." Marillion have made a 50-minute film to accompany Brave, directed by Richard Stanley. I stayed up really, really late to watch this because it was on some music show. And I thought, oh, it'll be like a live concert of Brave. And Brave is a really, really good album, a really brilliant album, like one of their best. And I stayed up and I didn't realise there was a film, and I watched the film. And the film's so bad, it actually makes the music seem worse. And It's very low budget, and it's sort of trying to tell the story of the album, but it doesn't do a very good job. But yeah, they're talking about it being a concept album. It could be construed as a progressive rock album in the real sense of the word progressive, but the story of a girl abused by her father, running away from home, becoming dependent on drugs is very much a story for the 90s. This isn't dragons and demons and mushrooms and twaddle, which is what most people associate concept albums with. It's a shame people only remember the bad concept albums, like the ones recorded on an ice rink with a 30-piece orchestra, 60-piece choirs, and King Arthur. They're talking about Rick Wakeman there.
Itchy.
There's a thing about playing Castle Donington in 1985. someone told us he thought Marillion were a metal band because Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson used to go around telling everyone we were his favourite group. Which is, I can see Bruce Dickinson liking them. So Marillion's place in 94 is a strange one. The band's cause hasn't been helped by the cliched image of the average Marillion fan, brackets, boring student, too many Yes albums, no girlfriend, does describe me in 1994. Because I was a student and didn't have a girlfriend. Oh. So, yeah, I feel attacked. So they're talking about going on tour. We want to put on a real spectacle, says Hogarth, with a suitably theatrical air. It will be special. I can't say exactly what we'll be doing, although I can reveal that as many of the songs on Brave are sung from a female perspective, I'm currently looking for a way to express the feminine side on stage. I haven't quite worked out how to do it yet. And I remember there was a very similar quote in the Marillion fan magazine, The Web, and he said, I hope it's not just me wearing a dress.
Right.
And when we went to see them, it was indeed him just wearing a dress.
Him wearing a dress.
But very, very good show. So the next little feature I wanted to bring your attention to, Phantom Blue. I don't know if you remember Phantom Blue. They're an all-female band. Okay. And you can win a chance to meet them and, do meet and greet and stuff and go to a restaurant with them. But the headline of the article is Eat Out with Phantom Blue. Jesus Christ. Now, if it had been Kiss, would they have written Eat Out with Kiss?
I don't think so.
No. So it's good that sexism is still alive and well in 94.
Imagine how awkward that would be, just going for a meal with them.
There might be.
I mean, I know not everyone's like me, and some people can function in society, but God, I can't think of anything worse than watching you eat. First of all, like, what do you decide to eat in front of them, and then just having to eat in front of people?
See what else it says. During this time, you have your picture taken with the Foxy Fivesome, and you also get to ask the band a question on ITV's nationwide small screen metal show Noisy Mothers for broadcast at future date. The latter two parts of the prize applies to the actual winner, not their guest. So if you take some along, they're not going to be on Noisy Mothers. It's just you. Right. With the gals plank spanking later that evening and playing cuts from their recent Built to Perform platter, it threatens to be a night to remember. An all expenses kind of deal. Hang with the LA girls during their preparations for their show. I mean, you might not even have that much to do with it. You might have a photo taken.
It feels like, you're just watching them while they get ready.
Yeah, you're not actually going for a nice meal.
That's fine. That's better.
All right. So we'll finish up with some personals.
Okay.
Or classified. Are they called classified? Yeah, Klassifieds. Thank fuck for that. Calling all gorgeous ladies, 18 to 30, Somerset area, for sale. One sick/demented male in need of renovation. I think they mean renovation and possible lasting relationship. So he's sick and demented.
Yeah, I wouldn't respond to that.
And that's like literally all the information he's getting, and he's in need of renovation.
I mean,
again, it's like a guy who wants a woman to fix him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cambridge area, ? Male, ? Long haired, ? Tall, ? 25 plus, ? Wild and wonderful female rocker. I think this is from a wild and wonderful female rocker who wants to meet. Unfortunately, I wasn't 25 plus or tall or long haired. I wonder if
you had to pay per word.
I think the personals.
Because wouldn't you put a bit more on?
All ads must be prepaid.
Please underline words to appear in bold type.
Headings available.
Number of words at 50p, 60p. Number of words bold at 60p to 70p. Why would there be 60p or 70p? Which is it?
Maybe if it's a long word. They're not really giving you a lot of information, are they?
No, are they?
Private 50p per word, including VAT, or 60p per word in bold type. Trade 60p per word. That's quite a lot, isn't it? So no wonder they weren't writing much. Male 20, unpretentious, right? Slightly mad, little boy lost, into Rollins, Black Flag, Soul Asylum, Die Cheerleader, Warrior Soul, etc. Needs somebody to shove.
What?
I think Somebody to Shove was a song by maybe Soul Asylum.
Right, that makes more sense.
Well, she's, her in the Cambridge area, Wild and Wonderful, that I think that's a song by the Almighty, so they're sort of letting you know.
Okay.
Playful blonde female 26 seeks interesting long-haired male playmate for gigs, clubs, fun times, London area. Photo, please.
Yeah, she's not stupid. She wants to see what she's getting before she commits.
This would be no good for me because I didn't have long hair, so no one will be interested.
No, you could have grown it.
I could have done, but I had my hair cut the other day, as you know, because you can see my head. And I was saying to the guy, I never had long hair growing up because I always felt self-conscious about trying to be in a tribe. Yeah. And I couldn't get over that in between stage where it's not short, it's not long, it's just big. Do you know what I mean?
You did that in COVID.
I did, but that was because I didn't have a haircut for 2 years.
Yeah.
but when it counted in the 90s,
was quite long, wasn't it?
I had like a year off where I didn't see a single soul, so I easily could have done it, but it didn't occur to me. Went to college, and literally everyone had long grunge hair, and I was like the one person that didn't. So I really should have done. So I think we're at the end of our magazine. There's nothing else I marked out. Next issue, The Almighty, studio exclusive, Bon Jovi, Nirvana, Skid Row, Wolfsbane, Mötley Crüe, Soundgarden.
Nice.
If I don't get my copy of K483, I will get Manowar's Joey DeMaio to come round and make you feel the black wind.
Imagine handing that over to your news agent.
Or noise agent. Oh, and back cover, right? Harder, Faster, Louder, the Great British Heavy Metal Awards, a multimedia event coming at you this summer, brought to you by those nice people at Kerrang. Keep reading the Big K for further details. So I looked this up, and there's no reference to this, but the Kerrang Awards were they first took place in 94, 95, so I think that's what it's referring to.
Right.
And I don't think I saved anything to do with it. But I had some links, but none of them. So that I'll just have to leave that a mystery because we don't really know about it.
Okay.
So that's our episode.
Right. Thanks very much.
Anything else you want to say to our readers and listeners?
No.
No. What have we learned about 1994?
Vince Neil wasn't in Mötley Crüe,
but he would soon be back.
Yeah, he might have been back by end of 94. Who knows?
Actually, should we just check it out? So Mötley.
I feel like I'm becoming more nasally as we go on with this, so I apologise.
John Corabi.
So he looks. I just don't know what his face looks like at all.
Well, that's him now.
He looks like Steve Tyler.
That's him there, and he just looks like a sort of.
He looks like Steve Tyler in that picture.
He does. He really looks like him. Between 92 and 96, so he had a good 4 years in the band.
It's more than I've done.
Okay, well, if you're listening, John, give us a call.
Don't, because I've said I didn't listen to the album at all. I said nothing complimentary about him. I said I don't know what his face looks like. Don't, because it'll be awkward.
Well, we watched that video and you still didn't really know what his face looked like because he had all that long, grunge hair. Okay, so that's the end of our episode. But before we go, got something I want to read you.
Okay.
We've had an email from a listener.
Okay.
This is from Richard. Subject line, love the show. Hello. Just emailing to say I love the show. Keep it up. Have you considered looking at some issues of Raw on future episodes? It was short-lived, but I enjoyed reading that when I was younger, and I loved the flexi discs they used to put on the cover. Anyways, good luck with the future episodes. I'll be listening in. Cheers, Richard.
Aww.
So I think that's the first email we've ever had. But yeah.
Well, I think you should read Raw.
We've only got 3 issues of Raw, but I'm looking at one, and I can exclusively reveal next episode we will read an issue of Raw just for Richard. So this is it.
Aww.
If you want something, just write in and we'll do it, because we've got no ideas of our own. We'll just do whatever we're told. So yeah, I've been reading I think issue 3 or issue 4 of Raw and making some notes. So that's going to be the next episode. Very exciting.
How exciting.
Hopefully they spell everything right.
No flexi disc on the front.
They don't use K's. Actually, I think they might have a flexi disc in, but
oh my goodness.
Let's leave that as a reveal for
Is
next.
it like a record? Is that what
Well, I mean, do you want to look now?
You can show me it.
Yeah.
Don't trip over the cat.
Okay. So here we are.
I said don't trip over the cat.
I didn't trip over the cat. You're right. Okay. Oh, maybe it was one of the other. One of the other ones has got a little flexi disc in the back, which is not something you see often. Yeah, so no flexi disc, unfortunately, but we will.
I think you should send that to Richard.
Well, the flexi disc.
Yeah, well, I don't want it.
Got nothing to play it on.
You can have it.
All right. Stay 90s, stay metal.
Stay metal. And grunge.
And grunge.
And a bit of grunge.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.